Brilliant. Okay, let's get started. I'm a little bit out of practice. So my name is Lara Zimmerman, and it is an absolute pleasure for me to be sharing this information with you this evening. My job this evening is really just to share the value that the LifeVantage products have to offer, as well as the business opportunity. And tonight's call is going to be fairly focused on the products, how unique they are, but also on the business opportunity. Before I dive in, I want to just give you a quick background to myself. I usually put a really professional photo up, but I found this photo in my memories on Facebook today, and I thought, you know what? I am a mum as well as a businesswoman, so I'm going to throw the kids up there tonight. But I'm originally from Ireland. I come from a business background. I set up my first business straight out of university in Ireland, and in fact, I've only ever worked for myself. It is now 11 years. My daughter's going to be 11 in next week, and it was in October 11 years ago that I was first introduced to network marketing. I had had a yoga business. I'd raised over £500,000 in investment to get it up off the ground. I slogged it out for 8 years, and then I sold it, and it was exhausting. But I had 3 young kids. I was really keen to keep working. I was keen to keep an income going for myself, and I was invited to a presentation very similar to what you're looking at this evening, where I was first introduced to this concept. And I'll be really honest with you, for a lot of the time I was listening and I was really thinking, I'm really not sure if this for me. And it was only towards the end of the presentation when somebody started to talk about a system and a way to leverage a system that my ears pricked up. So my job tonight is really just to share the value in that and share that with you. And also why I'm passionate about it. For me, I love health and well-being. I live a fairly healthy lifestyle myself, but I love helping people move into that zone or improve their health. For me, it's also a second income. I still have a traditional business. I have a property investment company, but if something we've all learned in the last 12 months is we all need a plan B. If you have not got a plan B, maybe you're here to see if this is the right plan B for you. I have known people who have been in what historically we would view or envisage as recession-proof businesses, or they're so popular there's no chance of them ever getting into trouble. And the last 12-18 months with this pandemic has definitely done that. So it may be that you don't have a plan B, but this is a way for you to look at an additional income. And I'm also really passionate about helping other people do this. There's a lot of people, and it may be you, that you've always wanted your own business, but you didn't have any ideas, or you didn't know what it was going to do. Or maybe you felt you didn't have the right experience to do that. Well, hopefully tonight I can share with you how anyone, it doesn't matter whether you're a PhD in something or you never got your A levels, this business is a way that everybody gets in at the same level and can build their business. All you need to be is somebody who is willing to learn, who's likes helping people. You got to definitely like people. If people aren't for you, then maybe stick up and hear about the product, but this is very much about helping people. You know, how hard is it? It's about learning to tell stories and share stories. And that's something that we knew. And if this is something that you felt there was something you were looking for, then I hope I can share that vision with you this evening. Now, before we get going, I've just got to share this disclosure that the information that I'm going to give to you doesn't necessarily represent all of the incomes that are generated. Effectively, the compensation plan that we have is based on each individual due diligence, their work effort, and the market conditions. I often use the analogy of joining a gym. Lots of people can join a gym. It's easy. You can walk in, you can take out the membership, but the people who get super fit and get ripped are the ones who are willing to put the work in, stay committed, and be consistent. And like any business, consistency is absolutely key. So I just want to share that with you before we dive in. So what I'm going to do tonight, and what I often say to people, you know, you may have come to this call with already knowing a lot about LifeVantage and the products. You may be just coming to hear some of this for the first time ever. You may be somebody who's reviewed businesses before, and you might have a criteria with which you like to assess businesses. I have a criteria that I like to assess businesses, and I want to share that with you. It's my criteria, but it's something that may help you. One is any business you look at, you got to have something that's really unique. If you've got something that everybody else is marketing, then you're not getting in at the right timing on it. You've also got to have something that people want to get on and people want to stay on, especially if it's a consumable. If you're selling something that people buy, once a year, once in a lifetime, like a nice luxury watch, then that's not necessarily something that you're going to gain momentum with. Also, I think it's really important to have something that's independently backed. If you think about maybe the last 5 purchases that you did online, did you look at reviews? I know I did. If something's independently backed, aside from the company, then you know that that has great value. And timing is key. I used to always use the analogy of a pager. If you're under 30, you probably don't know what a pager is, but they came out 35 years ago and they were the height of technology. But you know what? They're so dead now. Nobody has a pager because we've moved on to 4G and 5G smartphones. So timing is key. And then also leadership. Who's behind the company? Who's driving it forward? And lastly, a system. And that's where the fortune is. If you look at any successful global business, and I hate using them as an example, but it's something we all immediately get, is McDonald's. Okay. It is a burger joint. There are burger joints on every high road in the UK, in Ireland, wherever you're joining us in Europe, they are everywhere. But what made McDonald's successful is they had a system. And that's what's really, really key in any business. So diving straight in, what I want to do with you is just give you a little bit of a preface, a little bit of a background to where the company came to, because we do get quite often asked, why is LifeVantage products moved through this network marketing model, or this purple people to people business model? And just to give you a little bit of a backstory, the product was developed back in 2003, and it was pretty much the lifetime work of an amazing scientist who, whilst doing his PhD, discovered an enzyme that we as humans have. The long version is superoxide dismutate, but we call it SOD for short. And this enzyme, also known as an anti-aging gene, a survival gene, an antioxidant producing enzyme, is something that fights the body's aging process, and it naturally helps our bodies reduce oxidative stress. And I'm going to go into that in a minute. So if you don't know what oxidative stress is, I'll come back to that. But this product was launched. It was put out on the retail shops in North America, the equivalent of our Boots and our Superdrug. And the product was moving, but moving very, very slowly. And along in 2005, ABC Primetime, which is a bit like our Watchdog program here in the UK, came along and they asked the scientists at the company, they said, we'd love to conduct a study into this product. We gather you're making some pretty brave and punchy claims about this that we're not so sure, we want to take it ourselves. And a lot of companies usually kind of close the door politely and run. They don't want to be, exposed on national TV, but LifeVantage embraced that opportunity. And if you haven't seen that news report, John Keone, who is the presenter, had his bloods taken on day 1. He started taking 1 NRF2 Protandim every day for the space of 14 days. And he went back and he had his bloods reread. Now, the marker they were reading was something called T cells. That doesn't mean anything to most people. It's really just recording and looking at the level of oxidative stress in his blood. After 14 days, his oxidative stress levels had dropped by a whopping 45%. Now, to put that into perspective, that's the level you'd expect in a young child, maybe a newborn. So when that was broadcasted, literally it hit headlines. People were completely wowed by it. And the company experienced a fairly short-term flurry and spike in sales through the retail sector. And the main reason was that they didn't have the infrastructure. The company was run by amazing scientists and academics, but they didn't have a customer service, a sales, a marketing team in place. So the company continued to go through the retail market until 2009. It was then when the board of directors were so frustrated. They were like, we have got the most amazing product. We know what this can do for people. Nothing else exists out there. That they got a team of consultants in to take a look at what they had. And they reviewed the ABC Primetime video. At that point in time, there were about 6 or 7 independent studies. And they said, this is a story that needs a voice. It's a story that people, if they get on it, which they were doing and sharing, if they were incentivized to share and could tell other people about it, then this would move much faster. So the company changed its model to direct sales, incentivizing people like myself and Lisa and whoever invited you on tonight to get on the product, enjoy taking it for ourselves, and then get out there and recommend it to others. And now the company is turning over a couple of $100 million a year and is in a load of countries worldwide. So that gives you a little bit of an insight as to how the company came to be in this space. Now, you may be asking, what is oxidative stress? And I could give you a really scientific version, but I'm going to give you the bottom line. From the moment we breathe and we start eating as little babies and we convert energy in our cells, we get these crazy little unstable molecules called free radicals. I often think of them as ping pong. Think of a jar of marbles and you just shake it like crazy. What's going to happen? The marbles are going to start getting dented, okay? But when we're young, our body has this amazing ability to just stop the marbles from getting dented. The cells constantly, rejuvenating themselves and getting rid of that, those free radicals. But what happens as we get older and we become more exposed to life, and there's no other way of putting it, in terms of the type of food we're eating, the water we're drinking or not, depending on how hydrated we are, the air we breathe, not just outside, the air we're breathing inside is just as toxic nowadays, whether we're completely sedentary or we're, exercise junkies. The environment and all the other external factors that go on around us mean that our oxidative stress levels keep increasing. But as we get past 20, our body gets less effective at, fighting it, and you create this deficit. And what happens is we start to get, it starts to damage our body. Now, oxidative stress is the number one reason that we get inflammation in our body, and inflammation is the number one reason that we go on to get loads of illnesses. And when I first learned about this 5 years ago, I remember somebody saying to me, if you wind back the clock kind of a couple of 100 years ago when we died from an infection. We didn't have penicillin, so we died from infection. We were dying from maybe famine, maybe war, maybe murder, I don't know, whatever. Okay, those were the things we were dying. Now, because of modern medicine, we are all staying alive a hell of a lot longer. But what's so interesting is our quality of life is not so good. We're dying of chronic diseases that might take 30 years for us to die, but things that make us feel rubbish. Okay, so looking, while I'm talking here, looking at that chart, every condition that we can think of, and there's probably lots more, is fundamentally caused by the breakdown of cells. I often think about my phone is due to upgrade on the 8th of June. So it's just at that 2-year barrier. And this is something people always get. If you think of how amazing your phone is on the day that you get it, and then think of it when it's like a month off being renewed on your contract, it gets glitchy. Well, that's our cells, okay? The breakdown in cellular health is what goes on to create disease. And I am such an advocate that an ounce of prevention is worth a pound of cure. We don't want to get to a level where our joints are aching so much that we're being put on medication, that we can't breathe, that our brain is disappearing. Oxidative stress is what's causing all of these conditions. So what does it feel like? Well, I often say to people, think about how you felt when you got out of bed when you were 20 and how you felt at the end of the day. We're all now suffering from our immune systems don't respond as quickly to things as they used to when we were in our 20s. We get brain fog. When we go up the stairs to get something and you go, what have I come up to get? We find ourselves just being sluggish, finding it hard to get going every day. We're more irritable and lack of motivation. This is all things that happen when our bodies are have so much oxidative stress, and we've got increased stress in ourselves. Stress from the environment, stress from how we are living, and fatigue. And I often say, and if you're looking at this from a business perspective, which I know all of you are, is can you look at your two hands and think of people that who are complaining of being tired, complaining that they're not sleeping well, complaining that they have aches and pains, complaining that they've got mental fatigue or fog? Well, if you can get one hand of those people, I guarantee you can get another. Pretty much every single conversation today in today's world starts with how are people feeling, and people aren't going, fantastic, I'm 48 and I have so much energy. I've been up since 6:20 this morning. I have not stopped all day and I'm still bursting with energy. And I promise you, this is my little secret. Well, it's not a secret. So where's all this going? Up until LifeVantage brought out Pretendum NRF2, there was no way of effectively lowering oxidative stress in our body. And if you know about oxidative stress and free radicals, you'll know that antioxidants found in food are recommended as an amazing way of reducing it. And here's what I'm going to say to you is still take all those colorful foods, all those fruits and vegetables, but you may be really, really surprised to know that they cannot combat it in an effective way. So just putting this in perspective, an antioxidant that you find in, say, an orange or broccoli or whatever will neutralize a free radical on a one-to-one basis. I don't know if you can see me on the camera because I'm staring at a picture of Lisa, but my hands are going everywhere right now. But that's a one-to-one basis. When you increase your production of SOD inside your body, one molecule of SOD is going to neutralize 1 million free radicals per second in a 24-hour, every second for a 24-hour period. The analogy that I get is, it's taking antioxidants is like throwing this glass of water over my house to take the fire out. Taking an NRF2 and increasing your own body's natural ability, what your body did when you were pre-20, it is doing it in absolute abundance. And that is powerful. And this is where we're talking about activation opposed to supplementation. We're talking about giving our body the power to do what it used to do in abundance. So thinking whilst you're looking at this, think of how many people do you know who would love to have more energy, who would love to have less brain fog, more mental agility, have less aches and pains. This is all not because they're deficient in any of the ingredients in here. None of us are turmeric deficient. None of us are green tea deficient. It's the combination of those amazing ingredients that help lower that. Now, I don't want people to move away from this screen right now, but if you just take one of those words, glutathione, and were to Google the benefits of glutathione after this webinar, you will see it's outstanding. It helps you sleep, it helps recover muscles after exercise, it helps your brain power, and your own body is going to be firing out glutathione by 300% after a month of being on this. That is so powerful, so incredibly powerful. So, moving on to what also makes a product really important, it's the independent validation. When I linked arms with Lisa back in late 2015, and we looked at launching this in the UK, there were about 17 independent peer review studies. There's actually now over 30. I know it said over 20, but there's now over 30 peer review studies. So that's not just the company going tick box. We've done our research, we know it's good, but universities and institutes that you can see there on the screen. Everybody has heard of Harvard University, the American Heart Foundation, Washington State University. These are world-renowned educational institutes who have taken this little mighty product, tested it, and validated it that it does what the company says. In terms of media coverage, it's been massive. We couldn't possibly list all the media coverage this product has got, but some of the channels you'll be aware of: NBC, Wall Street Journal, the Today Show, Dr. Phil. These are people who are covering this because this is a life-changing product. In fact, it was Washington State University, when talking about the discovery of NRF2 activation, said that this is potentially the most therapeutic and preventative breakthrough in history. And that, I think, sentence went on to talk about that it's since the introduction of penicillin, which has been life-changing. So that is pretty powerful, and Protandim is the only product that can make that claim. So in terms of the rest of the product range that LifeVantage offers, it's really vast, and depending on what market you're joining us this evening, if you're here in Europe or you're abroad, we're going to have different products to offer. But what I'll say about this range is every product has been developed with science in mind and to create some sort of really unique offering, something that nobody else can offer. So within the supplement range, we've got something that increases our energy through the mitochondria. We've got a probiotics. We've got a really well put together fish oil that's got vitamin D in it. There's a skincare range there that has that NRF2 activation. So, I know there's some amazing people from the from the skincare industry that have joined LifeVantage. And rather than putting something on that's topical, this is obviously topical, but it's actually working on your cellular structure, which is really powerful. In North America, we have a weight management system, which is designed to help people either achieve their ideal weight or maintain their ideal weight. We've got a hair care system that is NRF2 activated as well. So you see people's hair looking way healthier. You see great hair growth, thickening out. We've also got energy products. We've got immune system products. And next year, we are going to have a skincare system launched with CBD, which, as we know, CBD is a product. Those two together, they are going to be extraordinary. So those are the products, and I wanted to share those with you because, as I said at the start, when you're assessing a business, you need to think, what's the product? Is it unique? Is it independently backed? Is it something that people want to take, that get on it and stay on it? Is it affordable, and is it independently backed? And all of those things create a really powerful business, a platform to move forward on your business. So in terms of what we can offer at LifeVantage, it's a perfect model. And I've been in this industry for almost 11 years. It's afforded me the opportunity to work from home around 3 kids. There's times that I've had to step away from the business because I've had other things going on. Maybe my business or personal life took over, but I've been able to build a consistent income. Just like, if you rented houses, you still get the rent. If you have a pension, the pension keeps getting paid. And I've always talked about working from home being a perfect model, but in the last 18 months, it's become an even more powerful model. I always say to people, if you've got a smartphone, you can build this business from anywhere. When you join the business, you're given that system, not the McDonald's system, you are given a system, a virtual office. You've got minimal business assets. You have no inventory that you need to keep. You just need to get on the product yourself every month. You've got a low entry level. And again, sometimes people talk about low business investing. I've had businesses in the past that required hundreds of thousands to get going, that took 5 years to break even. This is a business that you can get in, depending on what system you want to get in, for under £1,000 or euros, and you can become profitable within your first month if you're willing to follow a system. Now, I don't know many, in fact, you can do it in your first week, but it is a business that you can get up. And I don't know many traditional businesses that you can do that don't require huge overheads. We've also built this business on social sharing. So what do I mean about that? Well, we share the products and we share the opportunity offline with our friends and family and people we know, but we also leverage social media. So if you're somebody who scrolls on Instagram and Facebook every day, how would you like to start earning money from the relationships and the time you are spending there? That is really, really powerful. This is a business you can build on the move. I was out walking my dog this morning. I stopped to talk to somebody and we got onto Pretandem because of something they said to me. It's not something that needs to be done from a boardroom or an office or anything. It's about getting out and sharing that with people. You also get given your own website. So if you're sitting here going, this is great, sounds amazing, but how does it set it all up? From the second you register as a distributor, it's a turnkey business. You can start sharing your website with people and start making sales. You get paid daily bonuses. So a lot of businesses in this industry might wait to the end of a week or a month. We get paid our bonuses daily, which is really, really exciting. Now, in terms of markets, these are the markets that we're currently open in, and there are more to come. So pretty much the whole of North America and Mexico. We've got Australia and New Zealand. Across Europe, we've got the whole of the UK. We've got Germany, Netherlands, Austria, France, Spain. And over in Asia, we've got Taiwan, Japan, and a couple of other markets that are on their way. And again, you might be thinking, well, hold on a second here. If I'm in London and I've got my best friend in Montreal, how's that going to work if they want to order? Well, you will be given a website that if you were to go out to a web designer and get them to build a e-commerce platform like this for yourself, you would spend probably, I would say, thousands, maybe over 10,000 to develop this. But if you've got a friend in Montreal, you can send them your link. They can click on that Spanish link and, or sorry, they not that Spanish link, that Canadian link. They can order their products in Canadian dollars. It gets shipped directly to them from the Canadian depot. They pay in Canadian dollars. You get paid in your local currency. And that's a business that you could register for this evening, tomorrow, whenever you catch up with whoever's with you, and you can be shown how to get going, which is super, super powerful. So the question you're probably saying to me right now is, look, how do I make money? How can I get going from this? Okay, well, there's a number of different income streams that we have in the business, but there's effectively two things that happen. One is we get paid weekly. Now, the things that we get paid weekly are on, if I introduce that lady on the common today to Pro Tandem and she places an order, when she checks out, I'm going to get paid a commission for introducing her and helping her get started on that product when she's paid. So that'll be tomorrow or the day after. Every time you help somebody get started in the business, the company will pay you. And that's called a fast start bonus or a launch bonus, whatever you want to call it. And that's immediate money. That's money that we help you get profitable. But you're going to say, well, how do I get paid long term? Well, you build a monthly paycheck, and that's through royalty incomes, through something called generational match bonuses and elite pools. So that's as you grow your business, and I'm going to show you a very visual diagram in a moment when I've gone through some of the earning potential, just to give you an idea of what is possible, and that will make it really clear. But the first thing we want to do is we want to get you into profit. Okay, I just love the idea of something costing nothing, if that makes sense. Does that make sense? You know, depending on which market you're in, you're going to get started on a different pack. So I'm not going to run through all the distributor packs with you, but I want you to get that pack, and we want to help you get profitable, cover your initial cost and get going. So we help you go out and find your first 5 customers. We're going to show you what you need to do that. And you're going to start, not only are you going to have 5 customers who are going to get on the product, but you're also going to start getting additional monthly bonuses for doing that. And that just neutralizes your business overhead. That's where you can kind of go, yeah, I've nailed that first section. But how far can you take this? Like, what is actually possible? Because the very first presentation I went to 11 years ago, I was only at this stage of the presentation that I set up and went, okay, I can see where this is going. Me on my own, I've got about 25 customers because I love this product and I talk to a lot of people about it, right? But I am not going to generate millions of dollars of sales on my own. I don't want to either. But what I can do is I can start to build an organization of people like me, people who just want to get on the product, try the product, be consumers of the product, but other people who are passionate want to share it with others. And here's what we do. We have a compensation plan. As you build that network of people, you're going to start getting paid. And I'm going to focus in on 3 lines here. Your eyes might be already kind of running down these numbers. So Pro 3 is somebody who's got into the business. They've probably introduced a handful of people as distributors. They've helped them get their 5 customers. They've probably helped them get a few more distributors, and they're starting to build a team. The average monthly income, and this is all in US dollars, is around about $581. So that's probably about 500 euros, 400 sterling. What's really interesting to me, when I looked at a business like this 11 years ago, I was a stay-at-home mom with 3 kids. I'd sold a business. I had money, but I was investing it in property, and I needed an income outside of what I was, sharing with my husband. And it was one of those things. I had a magic number, right? At the time, I had a magic number, and my magic number was, if I earned around £600 or £700 a month, I wouldn't have to go get a job when the kids got to nursery school age. That's my kind of, never worrying about if I'd see an outfit I wanted to get, or if I want to hop on a plane and go home to Dublin to see my family for a weekend, I don't feel like I need to ask for money. That was my magic number, because that was my kind of, that would, add more to what our family was getting every month. And everyone will have a magic number. It would really surprise you, and I only know kind of UK figures, but the average household in the UK would be way more comfortable with about 200 extra a month, maybe 300. And what I mean by that is, and you may be able to relate to this, or you may know somebody who can relate to this, but have you ever got, if you're somebody who gets paid on the last day of the month. Have you ever got to about the 20th of the month and you start checking your bank balance before you go yes to the kids? Have you done that? Or, oh, yeah, I'll order curry. Ooh, maybe I'll just make some pasta tonight. There's not a lot in it to take people from feeling really tight to just feeling a bit more comfortable. So Pro 3 is a position that we really focus on in LifeVantage, because we know that's when this business suddenly becomes serious for you. If you've got an extra £400 or £500 a month coming into your bank account, this is something that you start going, okay, this is, I say believable, I mean that in a respectful way, but you can see it, you can feel it, you know what is possible. The next rank is Pro 5. Now, the income at this level, you're looking at just short of about $3,000. So here in the UK, maybe between 2 and 2,500 sterling to euro. That's a sudden income where you might think about quitting a day job if you have a day job. If you have another business like me, you might start thinking, actually, I'm not going to do this at night anymore. I'm going to put a bit more time in, because when I'm showing you these figures, this is income that you build, that you get paid monthly because you've got an organization who are moving product. And again, I'm going to show you a visual in a second that will show you that. Or maybe you move into the elite ranks. I know when I saw this slide 5 years ago and something very similar 11 years ago, I went, oh my goodness, do people really earn $12,000 working from home, marketing something like this, sharing this with friends and family? And I can tell you, Lisa, who is on quiet tonight, she's not talking, I'm doing all the talking. She's at Pro 8 level. So her organization turns over around about $200,000 in product every single month. And that is the sort of paycheck she is bringing home. So how far you want to take this is up to you. How far you want to go with this. You may be somebody who, my aspirations 11 years ago were just to kind of not worry about asking for really kind of frivolous stuff, like a flight home to Dublin or a new pair of shoes or a night out with the girlfriends when I wasn't working. For others, it could have more value. But when I realized that actually I could build a serious income doing that, this is where I sat up and had a look. So how are you going to do that, guys? How are you going to do it? Because, I remember, again, when I looked at this for the first time, I went, well, how do you do it? And, somebody said to me, how do you eat an elephant? One bite at a time. And I went, I'm not going to eat an elephant, right? But what it is, it's about leveraging a system. So about 80% of people who join LifeVantage, who go through your website and who hit checkout, are customers. And customers are just people who get on the product. We recommend they go on a subscription, they take it regularly. One, because they get it a lot cheaper if they take it regularly, but two, because the results and the way they feel is way more effective. And that's another story altogether. But I just say it's 80% of those are people. Do customers refer people? Yes, they do. In fact, probably my last 10 customers are referrals from existing customers. People going, hi, I'm a friend of Lynn's. I'd love to try this product. Hi, I'm a friend of Rick. I would love to try this product. But they're not paid to do that. They are, however, incentivized, because if a customer refers a customer, then they get something off their next pot of Pretandem. And then you've got a network of distributors. So these are people who've got to this stage of the presentation going, I don't know how I'm going to do it, but I want to do it. I can see that there is potential in this. And just like when you open a Lego pack, I've got so much Lego in this house because I've got 3 kids. One piece of Lego on its own is just a piece of Lego. When you stick it together, you build an organization. And that's how you go Pro 3, Pro 5, Pro 7, move through the ranks and can build yourself a business where you have 800, 1,000, 2,000 people a month on this product and the orders go through. So if you're like me, and last year I had a few things going on, I had to step away. I could not be as active as I wanted to be in this business. I still got an income. If I stood back from my other business, I wouldn't have an income. And maybe you ask yourself that, if you stood back from your job, you probably continue to get paid for a little bit of time. Would you start missing out on things? Yeah, you're not going to get put forward for those promotions or whatever's going on. So the last question people ask is, can I do this? And like I said at the beginning, it doesn't matter whether you don't have an A level or whether you're a PhD in whatever. All you've got to join this business with is with a complete desire to want to learn, a complete attitude to, I'm here show me what to do, to be the best student possible. And again, I'll be honest with you, when I first got into this industry, because of my background, because I'd been in business, because I didn't follow the system. I thought, I'm in business, I know how to do this. I've called my first 2 years in this industry my not-for-profit years, because I didn't follow a system. So don't do what I've told you I've just done. So there's global support. The picture on the right-hand side is all the European leaders, plus some of the US leaders and some gorgeous people from Australia who are here to help us grow our business. If you're thinking, Laura's just done this presentation and I don't know it. Well, let me tell you, for about a year, I read this presentation out loud, and now I've just learned it because I talk about it all the time. So it doesn't matter where you come from us. Follow a system. If you're willing to follow a system, then this is a business for you. There's regular, well, pre-COVID, there were regular meetings in person. Let's hope that we can all get back together again, but everything we do is on Zoom. That's the magic of this. We're going to wrap this up in a minute, and you can all walk downstairs and hang out with your family or wherever you are. There's trainings, there's events, there's incentive trips. In the 5 years I've been with this company, I've skied in North America, I've been to the Bahamas, I've been to Amsterdam, I've had amazing trips all over the place. And there's also a very intimate support community. It's not about hundreds of people getting together. You'll be mentored by the person who introduced you or somebody who's working really, really closely with them. So just wrapping this up, the last thing I talked about was leadership, or who are you partnering? The company is a NASDAQ company. It's based in Utah and North America. And all I can say is they have our backs. They win endless awards for employers. They're continually launching new markets. If the name Erin Brockovich rings true to you, the real Erin Brockovich, not Julie Walters, who played her in the movie, is on our board of directors. They put together an A-team board of directors to help grow this business. They're winning awards on the consumer and the retail sector. They're listed in endless different places, and they've even been invited to ring the bell on the NASDAQ at the end of trading. They also sponsor Real Salt Lake City, which is like one of the biggest, it's a bit like Real Madrid in North America. They're on TV because they're sponsoring it. So this is a high profile business. This is a business that people know about in all the markets we are open. And there's also a huge charitable element, philanthropic element to what the company do. A lot goes back into communities that are less well off. And I think that's really valuable. When you join, when you get on an airplane, you want to know who the pilot is. You want to know who's at the helm. And they do all the back office stuff. All the support, everything from corporate is done. I don't need to know if this is in good quality. I know that it's all being done there. So in keeping, I've probably given you a lot to think about this evening, but what I want to say is that if you need more information, look at your notes, go back to whoever invited you this evening. They'll point you to the information that will help you get those questions answered. If you're somebody who goes, you know what, sounds great, but I just want to get on the product, get on the product. It's an amazing product. Anybody who wants to have that energy, sleep better, feel better, needs to get on it. And if you're somebody who, like me, went, hold on a second here, I can get this, I can build a Lego set, I'm willing to follow a system, you're somebody who is willing to be coachable and willing to learn, then I welcome you on board. Again, whoever introduced you this evening, it will be able to walk you through that steps so you can get yourself up and running. I will welcome you to the LifeVantage team here in Europe or wherever you've joined us. So guys, that's it from me this evening. It's been an absolute pleasure to be talking to you, and I will look forward to seeing you all soon and welcome you on board. Thank you.